Welcome back, everyone, to the second of 3 sessions that is the Uncharted territory demonstrating novel geothermal concepts of Pivot 2023. Presenting now is Erika Salmenvaara, Chief Executive Officer of QHeat, based out of Finland. Erika.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you for the opportunity to present our unique technology and project. We see a fast-growing interest in geothermal, and I feel that within the next, say, 5 years, we'll see new ideas and achievements, but we'll also see that geothermal will grow its share in the energy market. Solar and wind required many years of hard work before they became profitable energy sources, and geothermal is on the same path, but has a big advantage because it provides continuous 24/7 energy that doesn't depend on weather. My presentation focuses on geothermal as a heating and cooling solution. In Finland, where QHeat is located, we drilled the first geothermal heating plants in the 90s. And back then it wasn't profitable, but it made sense for those who crave for clean and self-sufficient heating energy. And today, ground source heat pump solutions are the most common heating solutions in detached houses here. More than 50% of new detached houses pick ground source heat pump as their solution. And by the way, the 30% more pick some other heat pump solution. So it's a big market share for geothermal already. But in Finland, we haven't had any single projects that would focus on power generation. And this is because our bedrock is not permittable, nor has it any hotspots. But more than 50% of our energy demand is from heating. And by the way, the numbers are almost the same globally, not only in the cold Nordics. And this is why QHeat was founded. I described this progress to you because it has a lot to do with QHeat. Unfortunately, ground source heat pump requires a lot of land use. One detached house only needed 1 or 2 heat wells. But when larger real estates wanted to deploy the heating solution, they encountered that there was not enough space to drill as many heat wells that was needed. You had to drill deeper. But that wasn't the only challenge you had to solve. You also needed to have a new well design to enable efficient energy production from a deeper well. And these 2 challenges were the ones QHeat decided to tackle as our journey started 5 years ago. In 2018, we decided to accelerate the climate goals of the built environment by enabling ground source heat in industrial scale. And our technology is a deep coaxial heat well that provides heating and cooling and can also be used as a seasonal heat storage. It's patented globally, and it works at its best in distributed energy systems, providing flexibility and clean heating energy. Let's go to the well design. Here in the picture, you can see the currents that I described, the coaxial flow. The cold water from above the earth is put into the well, and it gets heated from the bedrock. And when it's heated, it gets pumped up through an insulated inner pipe. And this insulated inner pipe makes it efficient, and we can go as deep as possible. The drilling technologies are the ones that give us the depth that we can go to. But because the well is a closed loop system, and it doesn't require any permeability of the rock. There is no seismic hazard in this technology. And because we come from a place where the rock is really cold, it doesn't need any hot spots. So we can actually drill anywhere. This is something that is really different from other geothermal technologies, because usually you have some hazards during the drilling process, and then also you need to find the right spots to find the energy. But that's not all about the energy. Well, by reversing the current, the same well design will function as a heat storage, and it can extract cold from the ground for cooling. You can see in the picture that the warm current goes down the insulated inner pipe and warms up the bottom of the well. And the heat well patent has been globally filed and consists of the well design that has coaxial current that can be reversed and used as a heat storage or for cooling, or not only for heating. And I'll just sum up some figures here. One heat well that is located in the coldest part of Earth's crust, that is, let's say, Finland, provides 1 gigawatt hour of heating energy annually. This is sufficient for about 10,000 square meters of residential space, or in other words, more than 100 homes. In commercial real estate, this figure is even higher because they need more cooling, and the excess heat of cooling, because we need heat pumps. When you produce cooling, you also get the excess heat. The heat can be stored in the heat wells to provide more heating when that is needed as a seasonal storage. So our first 4 heating centers provide energy and flexibility to different usages. Firstly, to district heating grids, to really big district heating grids that like heat up cities, and secondly, as local low temperature heating networks that provide heating to several blocks of apartments. As like a small scale of district heating networks. And thirdly, of course, in our first project, logistics center that has been heated by deep coaxial well since January 2020. So it can also be directly connected to a real estate. All of these would have not had the possibility to use geothermal energy without the coaxial technology. So we needed to go deeper, and when we went deeper, we needed the coaxial technology. In this picture, you can see the land use of traditional ground source heat pumps in a densely built area. The block of houses in the left upper corner with darker dots needed a heating solution. It would have needed 105 traditional 300-meter deep heat wells. This wasn't possible because that would have required the land area of the whole island here. And that is all the dots on the picture, the 105 dots. But instead, with one deep coaxial heat well that is 1,500 meters, that is, I say, 1 mile, I think. They only needed 3 heat wells. And these 3 heat wells are now in the picture as the purple ones in the middle of the block of houses. So they could be really centrally located, and they fit on the plot. So they are like the only heat pump solution that was possible for this solution, or this block of houses. But unfortunately, this is an example where our technology wasn't chosen. Instead, this block of houses is heated with district heating, which is the most common heating solution in densely built areas in the Nordics. And it's also often called emission-free after the fuel is changed from fossil fuels to wood. Wood is a renewable source of energy according to the standards of emission calculations today. But in my opinion, burning isn't emission-free, so maybe the calculations will also change with time. But just to sum up, with the deeper wells, the centrally located heat wells required 97% less land usage than the traditional ones. And we also have a project that we have fulfilled, and this is a picture from our drilling site. There must be some of you who are really interested in drilling technologies, and I'm worried I might disappoint you because we only have 5 years of drilling experience. In the beginning, we had none, but we had a technology that we knew that would work. And we tried to find drillers in Finland, but because in Finland we don't have any oil or gas, we didn't have any drillers who knew how to drill deep. And this is where our founder, Rami Niemi, was really brave and decided to start drilling himself. And he got the knowledge from other people, of course. He had built a really nice network around the drilling. And now we have 11 deep heat wells that are operational. So I need to thank him every day for that. But this is a picture from our drilling site. And we use air hammer and pressurized air. The other parts of the site are, well, pipes and of course a container for the drill cuttings. And the technologies that we use are mostly from traditional ground source heat pump drilling, but we supplement it with tools and technologies from oil and gas drilling. And we need both because from the advanced oil and gas drilling technologies, we get the solutions for the challenges we encounter in deep drilling. But from the ground source heat pump drilling methods, we get the efficiency. And we cannot use millions to get lukewarm water from a well to feed a heat pump. And efficiency is the key where our goal is to scale fast. And last year we reduced the cost of drilling by more than 20%. And we think that we know how to reduce about 30% in addition. But if you have any good ideas, we're happy to hear and collaborate. Maybe someday we can let others drill and let QHeat focus on the well technology and the components in the well. All renewable solutions are important, but when we compare the impact of our heat well to solar panels, for example, we see that only one heat well provides the same emission savings as 7,000 solar panels. And that is a number I want you to remember, 7,000 solar panels versus one heat well. And this is something that is so great about geothermal. And with all the geothermal technologies, the ones that we hear about today and in the future, I see that we will together make a great impact. And a clean future is right under our feet. That is the message here. So thank you for your attention. And I hope you have some good questions to present me.
Much for your presentation. So you were naming a couple really interesting statistics throughout your presentation that I kind of latched onto. And I'll start by saying, one of the things that's been discussed in some of the sessions prior to this have been the idea that investors generally seem to default to geothermal for baseload electricity. And when they do that, we're neglecting this huge opportunity for geothermal to be used in heating, right? You said at the beginning that 50% of the energy demand in Finland is for heating. And I've also seen similar statistics, I guess more related statistics, that around 40 to 50% of our total global emissions are from heating and cooling. So, I mean, this all just lends credence to the exciting work that you guys are doing at QHeat and the technology that you're pioneering. So that is a segue into some of these questions that I'll group as a theme here. Is with the 11 systems that you guys currently have operational, what are some of the key learnings that you guys have taken away, the areas for improvement based on your experience that you're implementing in future projects that you have in the pipeline?
Well, firstly, I think the major learnings is that the technology provides, like we do simulations in the beginning, how much energy we get from the ground. And all of the wells have provided exactly or almost exactly the same energy that we have simulated before we started drilling the wells and doing these projects. So that is the best and most important learning, that we do get the energy that we are looking for, and that we don't have any risk there, any technical risk. Once we get a well, we know how much energy we get from that. But otherwise, I say that there are a lot of learnings from the ground source heat pump drilling. In the beginning, we thought that we wouldn't have the chance to use these learnings because we were going deeper. We had a little bit different kind of drilling rigs and equipment on our site. But now looking back, we see that we see a lot of that when we use the technologies that the ground source heat pump drillers use and how they are being really effective and efficient, there we see that these are the things that we need to focus on. And for example, to give a really short example, when we lose a well, and something gets broken inside the well. Before, we used a lot of time to try to fix things and to continue the same well. But today, we always calculate in the projects that we will probably lose a well, and we just need to go further and save the time that we used to use to try to fix it. So now we're just going forward and making the second well instead. So that is an important learning.
So that leads to the next question I was going to ask, which was on predictability. So how predictable are the wells that you are drilling in Finland, both in terms of challenges you may face and then thermal gradients that are obviously important for sustained energy production from the wells?
Well, the bedrock in Finland is really homogeneous, and the temperatures are the same everywhere. We get the same energy from all wells in Finland almost, and there might be some groundwater flows that might affect the energy amount, but this risk is more like an opportunity and not a risk. And when it comes to the risk that we have, it's more about drilling risks, about the equipment being broken down, or that the geology has, for example, fractions in the bedrock that just makes us stuck in a well. And but the energy that we have calculated, that is something that we get every time.
I could say, based on my experience, there's generally surprises that happen during well construction. Some are good surprises and some are not good surprises. Generally, you hope for the good surprises.
Exactly.
Let me ask. Outside of Finland, what are the expansion plans, and where do you see QHeat in terms of commercialization, or the technology readiness level?
Well, looking at Europe right now, we are kind of in an energy crisis. The war in Ukraine made us see that the Russian gas is something that we need to get rid of as soon as possible. And well, it's a hard thing for us with the geopolitical situation. But then again, for geothermal, this is a possibility, and we see that with geothermal heating solutions, we can solve, for example, Germany's need for new renewable energy sources for heating, and that is something that they have also understood themselves and made clear targets for geothermal.
Well, I was going to ask a follow up to that question on the economic comparison for what you guys are doing, and how does it compare against a system that's currently using natural gas, or a new system that we built using natural gas for heating and cooling in Finland or abroad, or as a developer for a construction site's making a decision on, do I go with shallow geothermal versus a deep coaxial system? How do you guys help move the needle towards the technology and the solution that QHeat is providing?
Well, actually, we can replace fossil fuel burning almost in all situations. So what we need is actually a heating system that works with a fluid that is circulating in the heating system. So if it's a direct electricity heating, then it doesn't really comply to, or we can't be replacing it just like that. But if real estate has a district heating solution, then it has a fluid that is warming the house, and then we can replace the district heating with the geothermal system, and it doesn't require that much technical changes in the real estate. But did I get your question right?
Yeah. I guess I'm curious as to know, when someone's going to develop a new, call it like an office building or a residential heating block, how do you help them make the decision that the right answer for what they need to be doing is going with a deep coaxial geothermal system rather than natural gas or shallow heating?
Well, when we compare ourselves to fossil fuels, it's easy. It's the emissions, and it's also the self-sufficiency that we provide. Not only the clean heating energy, but you get to be self-sufficient in terms of energy, and you provide work to your locals, and instead of connecting to a fossil fuel system that has like the supply chains are so long that you never know where the energy really comes from. But then again, when we compare ourselves to shallow ground source heat pumps, we say that if you have the possibility to have shallow heat wells at this time, it's more affordable, and we don't compete, because whatever you do something that is clean and self-sufficient. That is the right solution. And then when you don't have the land plot for the shallow heat wells, then we're there for you.
Okay, so let's change the topic a little bit more towards the technology, and kind of like the last session. There's a lot of questions that came through on specifics around the technology that we might get to, but I'll start with just the broad question here on what are the remaining technology challenges that you see that are facing QHeat, and what are you guys working towards right now to get to a full scalability and commercialization?
In the beginning, in 2018, we didn't think that we would become a drilling company, and we don't see a future as a drilling company either. Drilling will be something that we have because that is a good site, or it's a good way to explore and to make product development. But to scale faster, we need other drillers. And the challenge that we're meeting is actually that we have a lot of drilling technology or knowledge elsewhere, but the efficiency needs to be right, because you can't, the investors don't afford the heat wells to be millions of euros. They need to be less, and that's something that we're working on. We need to have cooperation and collaboration with other drilling companies, and to together find the solutions how to drill deep with efficient technologies and techniques, and to scale it fast globally.
So there are a number of questions that people were asked that were focused on a few aspects that you mentioned here. So when you're looking at I guess cost efficiencies in these systems in order to get that right economic balance for the developers and for the investors, what are some of the key things that you guys are looking at in terms of like material designs that can reduce cost? What's the material of your insulated tubing, for instance? Are you guys looking at different types of working fluids for the coaxial system? A lot of questions just sort of around the technicalities of how the system is constructed and how it looks from that aspect.
I'll start with the fluid. Right now we use only pure water, and it's pure water that is circulating in the well, and that is an environmental question, because we don't want to take any risks that we encounter any environmental hazards. So it's pure water that is circulating there. But maybe someday we might have the chance to use the ethanol or something like that. But that is something that the traditional ground source heat pumps are using. And it requires a totally closed loop that cannot spill anything out of the well into the ground. And secondly, the collector pipe that we use, the insulated tubing that we have inside the well, right now in the finished crust, where the temperature differences are quite low, we use composite material, composite, and it's quite affordable, but when we go to higher temperatures, we might need some more insulation, and then we need some other materials, and that is something that we're looking into.
So you're anticipating deeper, hotter gradients as you guys scale up?
Absolutely. That will make the energy production even better.
Absolutely. And that's a great lead into the next question I was going to ask you is where's QHeat going to be in 2 to 5 years? But on a geographic scale, on a technology scale, what's the vision? What's the grand vision?
Well, we see that we're going to explore the European market first, and we're going to have technology that has a vast network around it, a lot of collaboration with drilling companies, with developers, and we're going to make a great impact.
You have a question actually was around any idea on what the gigaton scale of CO2 emission abatement is with how you guys are looking to develop your systems and the quantity of the systems that you have in the pipeline?
We have really precise calculations of that. And if I remember right, one heat well provides, of course, it also always depends where you like what you compare to, but in Finland it's about 170,000 kilogram CO2 per heat well annually that we that we reduce. But then we see that maybe in 10 years, the wells will be hundreds, and there you can calculate it. It's enormous.
That's great to hear. I mean, it's what we need to fight climate change, right?
Exactly.
So my final question that I'll ask you, since we have just a couple minutes remaining here, is more of a what haven't either myself or the questions that have come in, what haven't we asked you that we should be asking you about what QHeat is doing?
Well, I think you have really good questions, but there's one thing that you had in your questions. You named the developers and the investors, but there. It's about the collaboration with the real estate owners. But from my background, I'm from the real estate investment sector, worked there for almost 20 years. And actually, I leaped over to the energy sector because I saw that there was not enough collaboration and these two markets didn't understand each other. So maybe the question would be how to fix this and get more more like change of thoughts between the sectors and really get them to advance the distributed energy sectors and the solutions together.
So you might say there's a real need to start building some bridges between the real estate sector and geothermal.
Exactly, building bridges.
So
so
I have to take an opportunity to crack a joke on the theme of Pivot 2023. So I mean, it's perfect though.
That was perfect.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate your insight and better understanding of what QHeat is doing and the impact that you guys are making in Finland and eventually abroad. If there's anything else that you'd like to close with, please, by all means.
Well, I think it's the slide says it. The clean future is under our feet. Let's make it together. And thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So for everyone else dialing in right now and on the Pivot platform, up next after a short break, we will have Gus Grand from Eden Geothermal presenting. Thank you, everybody. Looking forward to the next one.